Good morning, dear students. Today's topic is citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle is also known as TCA cycle or Krebs cycle. It was first found by Sir Hans Krebs in 1937. So, we call this cycle as a Krebs cycle. It is also called as a TCA cycle. Why? Because the first formed product, that is having a tricarboxylic groups, means the first compound that is formed in the TCA cycle will be having 3 COOH groups, tricarboxylics, 3 COOH groups it has. So we call this cycle as TCA cycle, and that tricarboxylic group containing compound is nothing but citric acid. The first formed compound in the TCA cycle is citric acid, which is having 3 carboxylic acid groups. So we call this cycle as citric acid cycle, TCA cycle and Krebs cycle. This cycle takes place in mitochondrial matrix. This is a continuation of glycolysis process. This is the continuation of glycolysis process where glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of this cell, and after the process of glycolysis, the product, that is pyruvate, which is converted to acetyl-CoA. The pyruvate will be degraded, which is a 3-carbon compound. The pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound which is degraded to form a 2-carbon compound, that is acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA enters into the TCA cycle in the mitochondrial matrix. So this process takes place in the presence of oxygen, means only in the presence of oxygen the TCA cycle takes place. Glycolysis may takes place in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen, but TCA cycle takes place only in the presence of oxygen, and this TCA cycle takes place in the mitochondrial matrix. So in the cell where the glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm, but the pyruvate converts into acetyl-CoA and enters into the mitochondrial matrix, and there the TCA cycle takes place. Okay. So next we will move to the steps involved in the TCA cycle. Okay. So this is the TCA cycle where the pyruvate comes from glycolysis process. Yesterday we have seen the glycolysis steps involved in the glycolysis. So this is the structure of pyruvate. Okay. So this pyruvate, first it converts to acetyl-CoA. Pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound. Pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound. Here you can see 1, 2 and 3. So it is a 3-carbon compound which is converted to 2-carbon compound, that is acetyl-CoA. Okay. So pyruvate will be converted to acetyl-CoA. Pyruvate will be degraded to acetyl-CoA in the presence of enzyme, that is the pyruvate dehydrogenase. In the presence of the enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase, pyruvate will be degraded or converted to acetyl-CoA. Here pyruvate dehydrogenase means removal hydrogenase. So removal of hydrogen takes place from pyruvate. So here this hydrogen is removed from the pyruvate by the enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase, and this hydrogen is donated to NAD to form NADH. Okay, so the NAD will be receiving the hydrogen to form NADH, and one more reaction takes place here. The coenzyme A will be added and this CO2 is removed. Okay, CO2 is removed and coenzyme A is added here. So this entire carboxylic group is removed from the pyruvate to form acetyl-CoA. So decarboxylation process takes place here. Dehydrogenation process also takes place in this step. So this acetyl-CoA, once formed, enters into the TCA cycle. So from here the TCA cycle begins. Okay. So this acetyl-CoA combines with the oxaloacetate, which is already present in the mitochondrial matrix. So this is a compound which is already present in the mitochondrial mitochondrial matrix. It is reacting with the acetyl-CoA and forms a 6 carbon compound, that is citrate. So here acetyl-CoA is a 2 carbon compound which reacts with the oxaloacetate, which is a 4 carbon compound, and thus forms a final product, that is, and the first product, that is citrate, that is 6 carbon compound. So here if you see, this is a citric acid. Citrate is also called as citric acid. This is the first product that is formed in TCA cycle. So we call this as a citric acid cycle. So this citrate will be having 3 carboxylic groups. If you observe here, this citrate will be having 3 carboxylic groups. One is this one, another one is this one, and this one. So 3 carboxylic groups are present in this TCA or citric acid. Okay, so we call this compound as a tricarboxylic acid. So we call this cycle as a TCA cycle. Okay. So from this citrate, which is a 6 carbon compound, an isocitrate is formed by the enzyme aconitase. Isocitrate is a isomer of citrate. Means here there is no change in the molecules and the atoms, but there is only change in the structure. If you see here, the OH and H will be exchanged their places in the isocitrate. Okay, so isocitrate will be formed by the enzyme aconitase. Okay, next we will move to the isocitrate, which is a 6 carbon compound, will be converted to alpha ketoglutarate, which is a 5 carbon compound. Here 1 carbon is removed, means here decarboxylation process takes place, means CO2 is removed, and the decarboxylation process will be taking place in this step. So this reaction was catalyzed by the enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase. So here dehydrogenation also takes place, means 1 hydrogen is removed and it is given to the NAD to form NADH. Here dehydrogenation process also takes place and the hydrogen is accepted by the NAD to form NADH. Next, this alpha ketoglutarate, which is a 5 carbon compound, again converts to succinyl-CoA, which is a 4 carbon compound. It's converted to succinyl-CoA, which is a 4 carbon compound. So this reaction was catalyzed by alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase, in the sense, it removes hydrogen, and this hydrogen is also accepted by NAD, which is converted to NADH. Here again the coenzyme A is added and CO2 is removed out, means the decarboxylation process takes place here also. Here we have seen till now the decarboxylation process, here and here we have seen. Okay, so the decarboxylation process takes place and coenzyme A is added in this step. So the product formed is succinyl-CoA, which is a 4 carbon compound. So 6 carbon compound is converted to 5 carbon compound by decarboxylation, and 5 carbon compound is converted to 4 carbon compound by again decarboxylation. Okay, next succinyl-CoA is converted to succinate in the presence of the enzyme succinyl-CoA synthetase. Wherever if you see the synthetase, the ATP or GTP is generated. So here succinyl-CoA synthetase will be converting succinyl-CoA to succinate, means it is removing the coenzyme A and it is giving the phosphate group to the GDP to form GTP. Okay, here the synthesis of GTP takes place in this step. Next, succinate will be converted to, in the next step, succinate will be converted to fumarate in the presence of the enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. So in the succinate, from the succinate, 1 hydrogen will be removed and it is given to the FAD to form FADH. So succinate dehydrogenase, will call those enzyme as a succinate dehydrogenase. Why? Because the succinate dehydrogenase enzyme will be removing 1 hydrogen from succinate and giving to FAD to form FADH. Okay, so thus it forms fumarate. Next step, fumarate will be converted to malate with the help of the enzyme fumarase. Here it takes the help of water to convert fumarate to malate, which is a 4-carbon compound. In the last step, malate will be again recycling the oxaloacetate. Malate will be forming again oxaloacetate, which is a 4-carbon compound with the help of the enzyme malate dehydrogenase. And this dehydrogenation takes place from malate, means one hydrogen from malate again given to NAD to form NADH. Okay, so this step was catalyzed by the enzyme malate dehydrogenase. So this oxaloacetate again follows the same cycle with the help of acetyl CoA. It again forms citrate and the cycle continues. Okay, so this is a TCA cycle. Why we call this TCA cycle? Because the first formed compound is a tricarboxylic acid and citric acid, and here in this cycle we see carbon dioxide is produced. You can see this carbon dioxide, yes or no, here and here. So the carbon dioxide is produced in the TCA cycle, which is the product of TCA cycle. Carbon dioxide and some energy is released in the TCA cycle. Along with the glycolysis, we count the energy released in the both glycolysis and Krebs cycle, and we calculate finally in the electron transport system. So here the energy produced is in the form of NADH, is in the form of NADH, GTP, FADH2. So here how many NADH is produced? How many NADH is produced? This we will not consider. Why? Because this is not a part of TCA cycle, but this is a link between glycolysis and TCA cycle. When we consider the entire glycolysis and TCA cycle, we consider this NADH. But if only we consider the TCA cycle, we consider only 1, 2, 3 NADH, 1 GTP and 1 FADH2. So these NADH and FADH2 is also a form of energy which is converted into ATP in electron transport system. So this 1 NADH will be 1 NADH will be converted to ATP. How many ATP I told yesterday? 2.5 ATP. And 1 FADH2 will be converted to 1.5 ATP. Why? Because in the previous days they used to say that 1 NADH is equal to 3 ATP, but this is proven to be wrong, and nowadays it was confirmed that 1 NADH is equal to 2.5 ATP. And this FADH2 also is they used to say that 1 FADH2 is equal to 2 ATP, but this is considered to be wrong, and this was proven to be correct. Okay, so 1.5 ATP. So by this we can calculate how much of ATP is generated during this cycle. So in glycolysis process, if you see, there are 2 pyruvates produced. So per one glycolysis, you see that 2 TCA cycles takes place. Means 1 pyruvate in glycolysis process, 2 pyruvates are produced. Yes or no? In glycolysis process, 2 pyruvates are produced. So we consider that this NADH, how many NADH is produced? 3, 1 and 1 FADH2, 1 GTP. So this entire thing will be multiplied with the 2. Why? Because 2 pyruvates are produced in the glycolysis process. So 2 times of this, all energy will be considered as a per 1 glucose molecule, this much of energy is liberated. Okay. So next we'll move to the electron transport system in the next class.